Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another fragrance rotation video for the week ending the 30th of October, 2022. Spooky. So, this week has been cold, it has been wet, and my fragrance choices reflect this. It's been a strange old week. There's been a lot of rain, particularly, especially the last few days. So you can expect to see certainly some familiar faces. And one or two fragrances I've worn for the first time in anger, anyway. But let's start at the beginning, shall we? And on Monday, excuse me, on Monday I decided to wear me some of one of my favourite fragrances. One of the closest things I have to a signature scent. And that is Tobacco Oud. I am not sure what more I can say about this that I haven't already said. I fear I may be repeating myself, which is a bit of a kick. I don't want to do that. Not too much, anyway. This, for me, is built on top of Amber Absolute. So if you can imagine, Amber Absolute is Tobacco Oud without the tobacco or the oud, which sounds like a strange thing to say, but if you've ever smelled both of them, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. All the spices are in Amber Absolute, which is a lot drier. This is a lot wetter. It's got this damp sort of warm, boozy, slightly sweet, ambery, resinous thing going on. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Amber Absolute has the scaffold of this, the skeleton of this perfume. It has... sorry. It has all those warm, spicy notes. Like, it has the slight incense. It has some kind of like cinnamony type of thing going on. It might not be cinnamon, but it's like this kind of slightly sweet, but it's dry Amber Absolute I'm talking about. This has more of a wet amber feeling, it's very, the tobacco's wet in it, but it's very warming at the same time, possibly from the patchouli, the sandalwood, and the whiskey, because there's a nice boozy note at the top of this as well. You can expect to see more of this again in the coming weeks and months. Next up, on Tuesday, I decided to wear something similar but different. And this is my favourite from the house. There's no doubt about it now. And this is Camel from Zoologist. This is, again, a little bit sweet, a little bit dry, a little bit resinous. And it's got this little bit of dirtiness about it as well, which, when you smell it all put together, it's beautifully made. It really is fantastically made. I think the perfumer was Christian Carbonell. But for me, one of the main things I get about this is, like, you would think Camel, they don't tend to get wet because they live in some of the driest parts of the world. But this suits cold weather down to the ground. It's very resinous. I imagine it would be quite good in warmer weather as well, simply because it's got this dryness as well from the incense. This and tobacco wood both have incense in, and I've been enjoying incense recently. This is big myrrh, big olibanum. I think it's got like a dried fruit note as well. Amber. Definitely it's got civet, because it's got that kind of pissy stink about it, you know, slightly animalic, but it's balanced beautifully. It's not, none of the notes are overpowering. It's beautifully made. It's very wearable, unlike a few of the perfumes from this house. Some of the perfumes from this house are like quite unwearable, and some of them are like more, I don't want to say bland, but some of them are more plain, you know. There's a couple of perfumes that really I thought like didn't suit the house at all, or the aesthetic they were going for, or what they used to be anyway. But this one is tremendous. This falls right in the middle. It's wearable, but it's different. Next, on Wednesday, it was cold. Again, it was cold. And one of my favourite perfumes to wear when it is cold, and one of my favourite perfumes in general, is this from Christian Dior. Eau Noir, the old green version. This is immense. I'm sure you've heard people talking about this before. It is the glare on the label's not ideal, is it? No. But this is warm, spicy. It is lavender, coffee. Coeur de Jon's best, in my opinion. You know? I think Eau Noir is Coeur de Jon's best perfume. Certainly his most satisfying if you're a frag head. You know? It's lavender, licorice. That's a new word for getting something. Lavender, licorice, violet. There's something warm, spicy, like more than licorice. It's like a saffron sort of thing going on. But it's got this freshness about it as well from the lavender. It's very complex. It's very interesting. It's very different again. But it's also very warming. It's got a great coffee note in it. You can tell it's Halloween because the ghosts are outside. But yes, I enjoyed wearing this on Wednesday. It is a fantastic fragrance, and I am fortunate that I have this and a backup. Now, on Thursday, I wore a relatively new fragrance to my collection. And you will have seen my unboxing video, which was released a few weeks ago, and I'm very happy to have this, but I have since ascertained that this is a propellant spray. I'm pretty sure it's a propellant spray, without having the box. And there's no markings on it, although it is atomizer. So I don't think it's a ball bearing sprayer, or a spring sprayer. I think it's propellant, simply because the sprayer's awful. And when you hold the sprayer down, you can hear something leaking out. You can hear like gas trying to escape, but you've got to remember it's a 40-year-old fragrance, so obviously it's lost its oomph over time, you know. For me, this is oak moss. It is leather, pine, carnation. It's green, but it's very warming. The leather in it's like an old-fashioned leather. It's like the leather that's in Derby from Guerlain, you know. It's got that kind of vibe to it. An old-fashioned, slightly buttery, slightly smooth, warm, green, complex leather. I really enjoyed wearing this. I enjoyed wearing all of these, to be honest. It's been a really good week. Is that lid sitting on? That lid... The lid reminds me a lot of the vintage Egoist lids that I've got. They are not great lids. If you can see on the inside of that, it is literally just... It's crappy plastic, thin, shitty. It's not great, but the fragrance itself is magnificent. If it comes to the point, I may have to decant this into a bottle, but I've got some, not to worry. Anyway, Friday was cold. There was a bit of rain, but I've been waiting to wear this fragrance for a long time, and I was put onto this fragrance by your friend and mine, and friend of the channel, Ramsey. And this fragrance is a vintage Creed. And it is Venetia. It hasn't got Venetia written on the bottle, strangely. It's weird. But it is a fantastic vanilla amber fragrance. It's what Creed used to do best, you know. It's got that sandalwood ambergris dry down, but it's got a really good authentic vanilla note. It's got a little bit of freshness at the top from, it's like lime, or like it's like bergamot, but it's not lemon. You know, it's like a slightly creamy sort of, a slightly creamy note, you know. But it's got that classic vintage Creed ambergris sandalwood dry down. That's in Green Valley. It's in, I think it's in Green Irish Tweed. It's in nearly all of the old vintage, like the old Creeds, the way they used to make them. They haven't made them like this for like 7, 8, 9 years now. It's been a long time. But there, if you can see on the bottom, it says Venetia. They didn't even bother printing it on the bottle, like. It just says Millesime. I've got a couple of bottles of this, and I am very grateful. I thought to myself that I would go hunting for a top quality vanilla fragrance, because I haven't really got one, because I'm not massively into vanilla, but I've got this, and I've got Vanille Havane by Les Indomptables, and suddenly I don't really feel like I need a top quality vanilla fragrance. It's like vanilla is one of those notes that it's in everything. So if you can find it in a fragrance, like if you can find it, like in this fragrance, there are other things in it, but if you can smell the vanilla in this fragrance, then you don't need to go out and find something that's more vanilla forward, you know. Anyway, Saturday. Yesterday, it was fucking pouring down, and it was shocking. The weather was awful yesterday, and when it rains, and I haven't worn this for a while, You hear that? I haven't worn this for a while, but this is one of the best wet weather fragrances you can buy. And it is Encens Mythique by Guerlain. This is just awesome in the rain. Aldehydes, rose, ambergris, incense. That's basically what I get from it. There's other things in it, but for me, that's really all you need to know about it. To be honest, it is absolutely fantastic. I think it's Thierry Vass's best work. I haven't smelled anything by him that's better than this. You know, this is certainly my favourite fragrance by him, and one of my favourite Guerlains. It's beautiful. It's perfect for the wet weather. You can still pick this up at relatively good prices. It's now in a bottle that's the same shape, but they're translucent now. You can see through them. They aren't like opaque like this, you know. You can, if you held it up to the light, you could see through it. You can't do that with this one. I don't know if there's been a formulation change, but I don't trust Guerlain necessarily. They've reformulated everything to death over the years, so they're a dying brand at the minute. I don't know how much money they're making, but it's not enough. Certainly not in their eyes, anyway. So that was yesterday, and today we move on to Scent of the Day. And this is an absolute classic. It is a cold weather classic, and I've been wanting to wear this for a long time. This is the first time I've worn this, I believe. I may have actually worn this last year, earlier this year, like last autumn, winter, if that makes sense. But I've sprayed this quite a few times actually, just because I wanted to smell it more and more. And this is Samsara Eau de Parfum. I love this. It was released in 1989. It was a Jean-Paul Guerlain, of course. And this is the clear bottle, and these bottles have still got the Mysore sandalwood in them. The Mysore sandalwood was prohibited from about 2004 onwards, but about 2000, the Indian government, they ratified the law. They made the law in 2000, and then they gave 4-year grace period for people to find alternatives and stuff like that, because basically Mysore sandalwood had nearly been farmed to extinction. It's still illegal to remove Mysore sandalwood from the country. So anything that says it's got Mysore sandalwood in it from 2004 onwards is just lying. They are just lying. It is not sandalwood from Mysore. You can look that up for yourself. But this is a bottle previous to that. The batch code is MX0AA. I don't know what that means, but I do know that they changed to the red bottles in the late 90s. So all the clear bottles are from... 1989 all the way up to the late 90s, early 2000s, which means they still have the Mysore sandalwood in, which is fantastic news, which is why I wanted to stock up on this stuff, and I did. Other notes in it are vanilla, again, iris, jasmine. There is jasmine in this. I actually prefer this version because the jasmine's not as prevalent as it is in the Eau de Toilette. So I'm not a big fan of jasmine. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of jasmine, to be honest with you. It's also got ylang ylang and peach. So it's got that sort of fruity top, but on me now it's just this creamy, soft, warm, woody, slightly powdery from the iris, ambery, soft thing. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. Beautiful is the right word as well, you know. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's not handsome. It's beautiful, you know. Anyway, I feel like I've labored through this video. I don't feel great. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed this fragrance rotation. I will see you all again soon with some more videos and live stream. Goodbye.